we're gonna cut this tree down. I'm gonna show you kind of how to do with a mouth and a hinge. On these trees, we obviously want it to go out in this opening, so you're gonna put your wedge on the side you want it to go. So when you cut your wedge, you're gonna cut parallel, flat and even, about halfway back on the tree. And then you come down at like a 30 to 45 degree angle and meet your cut like that. And you want to knock your wedge out and make sure it's nice and clean. And then you come to the back side, nice and parallel to your notch. And you want to be up about 2 inches. You're going to start your back cut. You start cutting. You always want to kind of keep your eye up on the tree, so it doesn't come back on you or which way it's going to go. If you got to get out of there in a hurry. You can control the tree, which way it falls on your back cut. If you want it to pull this way faster than this way, if I wanted it to pull that way, I would cut my back cut faster on the opposing side, because then it'll let the tree walk that way faster than the other way. But in this scenario, we want to just kind of cut it evenly and fast and watch everything, but we want to go that way. So another good thing I just thought of too is like your wood chips that are coming out of the chain should be sizable wood chips. If they're not coming out like that and you're just throwing like sawdust out of a chop saw, your chain's probably dull. And a lot of things too to notice, if you're fighting your chain cutting, it's probably dull, and we don't want it to start. If it's smoking, it means it's dull or the oiler is not working. So you always want nice fast clean cuts. It shows obvious maintenance on it that's working. So I'm going to cut this tree up, show kind of how to undercut, limit and stuff. When you're working sometimes in the woods and stuff, when you're walking around and limbing from limb to limb, you're going to want to turn your brake on so you don't trip, get cut, throttle sticks for some weird reason, and you cut your leg open. We cut our stuff 8 to 10 feet long. This is about 8 feet. This is a 28-inch bar. You can kind of use it as a measurement roughly. So it'd be 6 of these, or 4 roughly. And when you're doing the cut, especially laying on the ground like this, you really got to watch your bar and the chain. You do not want to put it in the dirt. The dirt is the worst enemy for these. It'll dull them right up, gums everything up. And when you're cutting logs like this is kind of an easy tree, but you can watch as you're doing your cut down, you'll get the width of your bar, and you can watch that. If you're cutting down and it starts closing, it means there's down pressure on the tree, so you need to come from the other side and cut up, otherwise it'll pinch your bar, and vice versa. If it wants to open, you're fine, but if you're undercutting in a weird scenario and it starts closing, just stop and cut from the top, because it will pinch your bar and that damages the bar where the chain guides are. So when you're limbing, you want to maintain control of the chainsaw. Just start off slow and kind of just keep it out in front of you. Let the chainsaw do the work. I usually try to, when I'm limbing, try to rest the body of the chainsaw on my thigh. So you're always kind of got a control area. So you're not winging it around out here and if something catches, it comes at you. This is a pretty generic tree, pretty easy, pretty simple. A lot of scenarios are a lot different than this. Especially with trees, you're gonna run into something new every time. You know, there's so many variables. Biggest thing is safety. A lot of times, if we get in tight areas, we use equipment as kind of a fail-safe to back push and stuff. Just, you know, keep your head up and watch where the tree's going, and always just be aware where the end of your chainsaw is, because these things have no forgiveness to your body.